Hello everybody, Self-Care Samantha here, and welcome to my latest video about gratitude practice. If you watched my last video, I talked about how hard it is for some of us to feel gratitude because we were conditioned to believe that if we didn't say thank you, we would get punished. So because of that, we struggle with actually feeling grateful and feeling appreciative. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to create a practice today to help you learn how to harness those feelings to improve your quality of life. Okay. So the first and most important thing is, if you didn't watch my last video, let's determine what does gratitude actually mean. Gratitude. So gratitude specifically means that you are conscious of the benefit that you have just received. That benefit could have come from a person, it could have come from an opportunity that you yourself created, it could have just been a random act of luck. But you want to be able to actually appreciate that, okay? So gratitude, again, is being conscious of the benefit, okay? But there's a second word that I said that's equally as important, that is what we're looking to do in our lives, okay? So yes, we want to be grateful, but we also want to appreciate, okay? Appreciate, what is this saying wrong? Appreciate. Okay, appreciate means an increase in value, okay? So we can be grateful for something and we can appreciate something at the same time. And these words actually are sort of a graduated source of each other. So let's just say, for example, you have a loving partner at home and you're grateful for them, but every single day something happens where they give you a little kiss on the forehead, and that's part of your routine and ritual, but you love that. And every day it seems to grow a little bit more in your heart. Well, that little bit more of growth in your heart is an increase in value, which again is appreciation. So when we want to be grateful and when we want to appreciate, we have to learn how to harness those feelings. And again, if you didn't watch my last video, you really should, because if you're anything like me and you grew up with parents similar to mine, if I had the opportunity to say thank you to somebody and someone handed me something, before I had the chance to make sense out of whatever the thing was, my mom was like, "You better say thank you!" And I became afraid that if I didn't say thank you, I would get in trouble. I didn't learn to be grateful. I learned to be scared. You might have thought that too, okay? So today, we're going to find a way to create a practice of gratitude to learn how to appreciate life. We're going to figure out how to be conscious of the benefits of everyday life and learn how to increase their value so that we improve our quality of life. I can't stress that enough, okay? There's one thing I want to teach you on this channel is to improve your quality of life. Like, whew. Okay, so why should you practice gratitude? Why should you have a practice of gratitude? Okay, well, the main concern here is that we want to be able to increase the value of everything we're doing so that our quality of life increases. I can't stress that enough, okay? So what does that mean, though? What does it mean my quality of life will increase? You are controlled by your nervous system. If you have a nervous system that cannot identify when to be grateful because you're fearful of punishment, you will have a poor quality of life because inside of you, internally, you're like, oh, did I say thank you? Am I going to get into trouble? Instead of being like, wow, what a fucking great gift. Like, I'm so glad I spent time with that person today. Or wow, what an awesome opportunity. You won't be able to have that inside of you because you're so scared. I didn't say thank you. And is this even good? Do I even deserve this? You see the contrast there? So if you got punished if you got punished every time you were trying to say thank you instead of actually learning to be grateful, that will subdue your nervous system into a place that it can't actually learn to increase the value and appreciate things, okay? So doing this, whoops, I hope the light's okay. Okay, so doing this, having a practice to learn how to be grateful and appreciate things is neuroplasty, okay? Neuroplasty, again, is relentless repetition. So you have to create daily habits that will allow you to rewire the nervous system. That's what neuroplasty is, rewiring the nervous system through relentless repetition, okay? So every single day, okay, so every day, daily, we need to find a way to practice a little bit of gratitude practice, okay? Where are you going to do that? Well, probably at home. but maybe in your car, but maybe on your walk, but maybe in the kitchen while you're doing dishes. I don't know. But there are certain keys to allow you to really create a relationship with gratefulness so that you can actually maintain those sensations and use them accordingly. There is a power in harnessing the sensations that we have through our nervous system so that we can proceed in life in a much more happy fashion, I guess is the best way to say it. Like, I don't know the word happy because happy is like a fleeting emotion. Like, life is always going to be like this, but contentment is like this, okay? It's kind of like a straight line. So if we can increase our gratitude, we can increase our contentment. Life is still going to have dips and highs and lows. Of course, life is a full spectrum experience. It's always going to be like that, but a lot of people get stuck in the negative stuff because they really don't know how to find the gratitude for the good stuff. And it's a lot easier for them to sink in the bad than it is for them to rise up to the good, okay? But again, it's a full spectrum experience. Our aim is to be in the middle. And that way we can appreciate these times and not stay stuck in these times, okay? So how do you create a daily practice? I'm going to give you two different ways. I'm going to give you a very basic way, and I'm going to give you an advanced version. Okay, the advanced version is what I have developed into my own life that I do now, but I'm going to teach you where I start. I briefly spoke about this in my last video, but the point of my last video was to help you understand that if you don't know how to feel grateful, if you find it struggling to feel grateful, that's the video you want to watch. If you watch that video and got something out of it, let's discuss practice, 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 okay? So every single day, I can't stress that enough, you need to have some type of practice. This practice needs to take 1 to 3 minutes. That's it. It's free. It's 1 to 3 minutes. The hard part is getting over your mental blockades to find what you actually feel grateful for, okay? It's very simple to say, oh, I'm really grateful. I don't know, let me think. I'm really grateful for my son or my daughter. I don't even have kids. I'm just using it as an example because everybody has kids. But why is the question. It's not, are you grateful for your kids? Why are you grateful for your kids? And if your reason is because I love them, that's not why you're grateful, okay? You want to be grateful because you noticed today that your son did something very noble and you're so grateful that the lessons that you want to instill in this little person are coming true. You're so grateful for your daughter today because she actively came out and helped you sweep the house without you asking her, because you as a parent have taught them the importance of keeping a home decluttered and organized so that you can function better, okay? It's not just, I'm grateful because I love them. No, it's grateful because they have done something that causes you to appreciate them even more, increase in value of that love, okay? So that's where people get tripped up. They don't really know the why part. The why is the most important, okay? Why are you grateful for this thing today, okay? So on a daily basis, this is your basic, okay? We're going to cut this up into 3. So basic practice. Your basic practice is going to take 1 to 3 minutes. You're going to focus on the why, and you're going to pick 1 to 3 things. And the most important part of this, so 1 to 3 things to be grateful for, okay, sorry. Grateful for. But the most important part of this is that you're going to say these things out loud, okay? Why? Can you guess? Because of neuroplasty, okay? When you can create a relationship with your why, exterior of just inside of your head, when you can explain something with your literal verbal words, you actually create synapses in your head of that neuroplasty we've been talking about. So every single day, if you can think of 1 to 3 things to be grateful for, why you're grateful for them, and say them out loud, you're going to create a neuroplasty. You don't have to write anything down. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't need to buy anything. This is free. Free, 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 free. However, it's not necessarily easy, okay? Because like I said, a lot of people get tripped up on the why thing. So every day, I implore you to look for at least a few things in your day that are different. You might just be grateful today that you got to watch, what happened to me this morning? I got to watch 2 beavers. Even though they're ruining my land, I got to watch them hang out in the pond this morning and be super cute. And I was just like, they're so beautiful. And I really appreciate nature. Even though they're ruining my land, I completely have an increase in value what their job is in nature. And I'm so grateful I got to literally see it in action. It's pretty damn cool, okay? So that's one thing. But if you have to repeat the same thing, if you're going to repeat the same thing every day, that's your job to start expanding your mind. There had to have been other things that happen in your life today that go beyond the same three things you're repeating every single day. I know there is, okay? So that's very important. So this is the most basic way you can start practicing gratitude. Put on a timer for 1 to 3 minutes. Pick 1 to 3 things that you're grateful for today. Say out loud why you're grateful for them. And remember, it's free. How I like free stuff. Next, we're going to move on to our advanced ritual. No, we're not. First, I want to say something very important. There's a very big difference in gratefulness versus taking things for granted, okay? So that's what I mean here. But if you have to repeat the same things all the time, you can't come up with something new every single day, at least one thing every day different that you're grateful for, you're likely taking a lot of things for granted. Ooh, that one hurt, didn't it? Sorry. So taking things for granted literally means you're not acknowledging them. You're not noticing the benefit. You're not increasing in value. In fact, you're doing the exact opposite. You're acting like it's unimportant. You're disregarding it. You're pretending or perhaps not conscious of it at all, even though it's something to be grateful for. So in your life, you have to find things to be grateful for, because if you're not being grateful for them, chances are you're taking them for granted, okay? People, places, experiences, opportunities, you name it. It's very easy to take things for granted. It's very hard to make things grateful, and there is a purpose behind that. Our neuroplasty naturally is set up for negative experiences for self-protection. But we live in a world where there are no saber-toothed tigers, and it's unlikely that you're going to get jumped by a bear. I live in bear country, and I have yet to run into a bear, okay? So just, that's something that's really important, okay? So you have to recognize those things. So now we're going to move on to an advanced version of how to be grateful, okay? So before we move on, I would call this right here a routine. Routine. I don't think that's spelled correctly, but that's okay. And what is a routine? It's something you do every day the exact same way every single day. So every single day, 1 to 3 minutes, 1 to 3 items, say why, say it out loud. That's just a routine. This is not going to take up much out of your time. An advanced, I would call this a ritual, because it's going to be a little bit more a little bit more in depth, because you're now trying to really build the relationship with yourself. Remember, this is self-care, Samantha. My goal in life is to teach everybody to learn how to care for themselves internally and externally, body and inside of you, so that you can manage this whole thing called life. Because I don't know about you, but this shit blows my mind all the time, and I know that there are ways that we can actually improve our lives, appreciate our lives, increase them in value, and indeed be conscious of the benefits that life is giving us all the time. This experience is short and long all at the same time, but you definitely have time to look for the good things in life, despite the fact that it feels like the world is burning down, okay? Avoid the world. You don't have to be watching the news all the time. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Focus on your life, okay? Because if anything bad's going to happen, it's going to happen anyway, so you might as well try to enjoy your life up until the bad things happen. All right, so advanced ritual of being grateful. You can develop this. I'm going to teach you some elements on how I do it, and you can pick elements that work for you, okay? I have been doing this for approximately 10 years, and it has helped me immensely. Like, I don't even know a word that makes that beyond immensely, but it's gargantuan how much this has helped me, okay? This usually takes me, I'm going to say for myself, approximately 10 minutes, okay? It should take you somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes. So I'm going to say 5 to 15 minutes. This is, again, free, okay? Everything I'm going to try to teach you, I'm always going to try my best to teach you for free or as low cost as absolutely possible. And being grateful is 100,000 billion% free, okay? So you will develop what you think is going to work for you, but this is not only the way I do it, I have a reason for each thing, okay? So the first thing I start with is breath. Yes, breath work, okay? what I don't do is I don't try to silence myself. I don't try to silence my brain. If anything, while I'm breathing, I try to hear what my brain is like running off, like what's repeating over and over. Why am I thinking about that? Why is all my energy focused on being irritated about that thing over there when I'm trying to be grateful? Okay. And most of the time I'll get a little bit of clarity. But again, this is through practicing daily, okay, that clarity will come. So what I do in breath work is I do a form of breathing where I can't remember the name of it. It's a little bit beyond box breathing. If you've ever heard of box breathing, if you haven't, look it up. But I inhale for approximately 7 seconds, hold for 5, and then I slow exhale for approximately 11 seconds. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. The point is that you want your slow exhale to be longer than your inhale. The reason why is because it brings your heartbeat down, and it does actually allow you to sort of be within the body and be within the moment. Again, I'm not asking you to clear your mind. You know, some people are like, clear your mind, and you have a hard time doing it. That's okay. Me too. Okay, me too. But I know that when I do this, I certainly am able to calm down quite a bit and actually be like, okay, I'm here right now. My job is just focus on the things I want to be grateful for today. My mind's suddenly racing. I focus back on the breath, okay? Again, I'm not trying to clear my mind completely. I'm just trying to get my mind into the motion that I'm in the gratitude mode right now. The next thing I want to point out here is breath work is best when you have loose clothing on. If you're a woman and you're wearing very tight leggings around your waist and a super tight sports bra, how are you going to expand your lungs? Okay, so if you find breath work difficult, take your bra off. Wear pants that have looseness to them, okay, because it will make a massive difference on being able to get your whole body into a sensation of gratitude when it's not trying to survive the elastic around your chest, okay? You want your ribs to expand so that you can actually get the oxygen. That really matters. Really matters. Like, I really wish that yoga teachers would teach that. But if you look at yoga in India, they never wear tight clothes. It's like, you got to follow the source, you know? Okay, so that's the most important start. So that's step 1. Do some breath work. This only needs to be, 1 to 2 minutes. Let's say 1 to 3 minutes because you might have a racing mind, okay? Number 2, I spend time with my body. Literally, okay? For a couple of minutes, so let's say 1 to 2 minutes, I say to my body and I give her a big fat hug and I say, girl, thanks for getting me through this day. I know it was a tough day. I know you're tired. And then I ask her, what do you need from me right now? And I just hold myself and I just try my best to take sense of my whole body. And I'm not joking, after some time of practice, this is going to take a little bit of time of daily practice, quite a few weeks, if not months, you will start to get a clear message. Sometimes the message for me is very clear. I need to drink more water today. I need to go to bed early. I have lots of energy, so I should go for a walk after prayer. I call it prayer. We're calling this ritual, okay? Don't get tripped up while I just said prayer. Please don't take that to heart. We're just talking about how we're putting it together. I felt like shit. I kicked myself. I don't want anyone to trip up when I say prayer because a lot of people attest that word to something that it's not, and it's certainly not for me. I'm not Christian. I'm not asking you to take that way. For me, prayer is being grateful, okay? So in those moments, I say to my body, I love you, girl. Thanks for getting me through the day. What can I do for you now? Okay, and I try my best to listen to her. But, this brings me to a whole other video. We're going to talk about this in another video about what it is to treat your body versus treatment of the body, okay? Either way, if your body's begging you for sugar, you have some work to do. If your body is begging you for rest, you need to listen to her, okay? So that's only 1 to 2 minutes. You might need a few more minutes. The hugging part makes a lot of people uncomfortable because you're not used to giving compassion to yourself. So if you start practicing this body thing with me, you might cry. You might be like, whoa, why does this feel so weird and uncomfortable? It's because for the first time in your life, you're giving compassion to your own body and she's responding or he is responding in kind by being like, what are you doing? And having an emotional response. That's okay. That's good. That means that there's a connection that needs to be made and that wants to be made. Okay. Next, number 3. This is where I start again. And again, everything is out loud. I can't stress that enough. I will say, what am I grateful about for today? Back to the basics, okay? 1 to 3 things. Why? Out loud, okay? Today, for example, it's only midday, but I'm very grateful that the weather has cleared up and I can start doing some yard work because I can't wait to change my yard. I'm really, really grateful that it's my day off because I got to sleep in and I got to organize all my stuff and I get to do a YouTube video today, which makes me feel so accomplished. I'm also really, really grateful because often on Saturdays, I give myself a fun anything. Okay, so today, for example, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to pick up one of those plain old chocolate bars and I'm going to melt it with the strawberries I have and put them in the freezer and I'm going to make myself a strawberry chocolate treat. And I just cannot wait to be in my little home, relaxing, watching Star Trek with my little treat and just enjoying a little bit of decompression because I appreciate when I have decompression time because I have a very busy life. Okay, so you see, I can just throw out 3 things like that. It took daily practice of doing the basics to be able to just toss out 3 things like that every single day. This took a long time. If it takes you a long time, it's okay. Building this practice is not just a practice, it's a relationship with your life. Building relationships take time, okay? And just like any relationship, you have to show up. You have to do what you say. You have to be there for the person. And if that person is you, that means you got to do it every freaking day, okay? Finally, sorry, this was about today. Okay, and finally, number 4, I just say 1 or 2 things about life, okay? What I really try to remind myself for is how happy of the life I'm leading, even if it was a shitty day. Because even if it was a shitty day, I still live exactly where I want to live. And I made that happen. I live in a cottage on a riverfront in a forest in the middle of nothing. That is my dream come true. And I never want to take that for granted. So every day I say it out loud, like I'm still so glad that despite me being really cranky that this happened today, I still get to come home to my little cottage house in the forest. And I'm so grateful that I have done all the hard work to make my life secure enough that I'm not panicking in this economical disaster that we're living through, okay? That doesn't mean I'm rich. It just means that I can afford my groceries, okay? And that is something to be grateful for and not take granted of, okay? We don't need to be billionaires. We just need to be good, okay? So life, I'm just going to call this life, okay? So a couple of things here. Each of these items only takes 1 to 3 minutes, okay? So 1 to 3, let's say they all take maximum 3. So let's say this takes 5 minutes, minimum 5 minutes, 3, 3, 3, 3. So 12 and 5, that's 17 minutes total of learning to be grateful. But remember, this is an advanced practice. It's advanced. And there are days where it doesn't take me 17 minutes. There's days where it only takes me a couple minutes. There's other days that I strictly do the basics because I have a migraine or I'm so tired or I'm PMSy or whatever, okay? But I never, 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 ever skip a day without looking for something to be grateful for, okay? This is neuroplasty. It's not easy. Okay, it is hard to face yourself to realize you're not good at picking something out that you're grateful for. It's hard to realize that you take a lot of things for granted. It's hard to create an actual routine on a daily basis where you focus on the good things in life when life seems really bad. But you know what? Over time, this is how neuroplasty takes back over your brain and it becomes super easy to find things to be grateful for. It's totally worth it, okay? You could absolutely do other ways of doing this. You can write your things in a journal if you'd like to. I definitely do recommend that, but more importantly, and I really, really think this is the key, is saying it out loud. Getting it out of your brain and into the reality. And when you do this by yourself every day, I'm so grateful for my son for doing that noble thing. I'm so grateful that I got to see those beavers today. I'm so grateful that my partner recognized I was tired this morning and phoned me at 2 o'clock and said, don't make dinner, I'm going to bring home takeout, okay? That's the stuff that you start to learn how to feel good about. But when you want to share that gratitude with somebody, you'll be able to say to your son, I'm so proud of you and I'm grateful you've learned that. You're going to say to your partner, I'm so grateful you picked that up about me. Thank you so much for getting this food for us tonight. And really, really express that thanks instead of be like, good, I'm so fucking tired. I don't want to fucking make dinner anyway. You see the difference there? Taking for granted, poor gratitude. It's taking for granted. If you're like, God, I'm so fucking tired. Thank God he's taking dinner home because I don't fucking feel like cooking. Versus being like, thanks so much for recognizing that in me today and actually helping out in the household and bringing dinner home to us. That's the difference between granted and gratitude. That's the neuroplasty that we're looking for. And that's what these routines and rituals will do for us. They don't have to be extensive. They don't have to be advanced. They just need to be basic. They just need to be daily. And it will teach you how to appreciate the things you want to appreciate. I just want to remind you this video is sponsored by absolutely no one. I'd love if YouTube sponsored me. And if you like my videos, I'd love if you could leave me a comment and like this video as well. I will be back with many more ideas. I know it takes me a while to produce another video every time, but I actually spend a lot of time thinking about my videos and organizing what's going on. And I want to make sure I produce information that actually helps you for free instead of giving you stuff that doesn't make any sense. So thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next video.